This is Geoff Arbuckle.
This is Jason Oliver.
And Jason, do you know what it is that people can catch every Wednesday, each and every week?
It's not another stupid movie podcast, is it?
It's exactly another stupid movie podcast.
Oh, shoot!
You can listen to new episodes of Film Seizure every Wednesday morning starring me.
And me!
And we just sit around and talk about movies. Sometimes they're good movies. Sometimes they're bad movies. Sometimes they're someplace in between. I don't know.
Gross, ugly, delicious, funny.
All those things.
All those things.
So every Wednesday, go to filmseizure.com. You might be there right now listening to this episode that's about to start. But you can also find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Film Seizure. So let's get started with the new episode.
Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to another episode of Film Seizure. I am Geoff Arbuckle.
I'm Jason Oliver.
And boy, oh boy, do we have a fun one today.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun.
Well, you know, what better way to send the summer off?
Fun?
Mega fun.
Megafauna?
Megafauna? Mega sauna?
Mega fun.
Mega fun way to send the summer off. And, you know, what better way than to watch the good live-action G.I. Joe movie, Megaforce.
Megaforce. Oh, shit.
So, this movie is directed by Hal Needham, who also directed a bunch of Burt Reynolds joints, particularly Cannonball Run, Hooper, Smokey and the Bandit.
He did Smokey?
He did Smokey, and then Stroker Ace.
Stroker Ace.
But Hal Needham's background is in stunt work, which makes a whole lot of sense because there's no plot to this movie, really.
Yeah, there really isn't.
It's just characters and neat shit.
Yeah, characters and explosions.
Oh boy, and a clicking and a ticking clock.
Yeah,
for a scene.
The holograms.
Oh boy, yeah.
Tricked out cars.
Dune buggies.
Some goofy costumes.
I'd say they're kind of awesome.
Introvision was introduced for the first time, which is like kind of like a weird version of green screen, I think, from what I understand. Like you don't have to be on sets; you can like be in front of pictures. I think that's what they were using when we start talking about the skydiving scene. I'm pretty sure that was Introvision.
Yeah,
it was bad,
but it's awesome too.
So yeah, it is. All right, I'll admittedly agree that as bad as this movie is, it's kind of awesome.
It's a fun watch, man.
Yeah.
It's a fun hour and a half.
Yeah. It felt long at times. I don't think there's any clear designation of the bad guys. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk. Let's break down.
Definitely the good guys.
Oh yeah.
But even those guys, you don't really know why they're the good guys. You're just told they are.
Let's break down the plot here real quick.
Yeah,
there is.
That should take about 30 seconds.
All right, I'll try it out for 30 seconds.
We should get a clock up.
Oh my God,
we're a podcast.
Yeah, we're not a movie. I'm not sure Megaforce is a movie either.
The clock is right there down at the bottom of the audio file you're listening to, so you can time Geoff if you want.
Right. So this movie starts with a group of mercenaries that are fighting for bad guy country of Gamibia.
Something like that.
It's a mouthful. And they are getting dangerously close and threatening to cross the border into a good guy country.
And they're blowing something up at the beginning of the movie.
Well, it was like they were trying to sell it as a workers' revolution to try to get people on the side of the revolutionaries that were taking over this country. So they're getting dangerously close and maybe at times crossing the border into Barsoom. I don't know what that. Wait, that's John Carter.
It's generic Middle Eastern country A and other generic Middle Eastern country B.
Right. A is the good guys. So they decide, well, we can't go across the border legally to go fight the bad guys, or we'll get smacked with sanctions.
Yeah, they want to go after them when they're
close.
doing their shenanigans on the border. Yeah.
Right. So they go and hire Megaforce, which is essentially G.I. Joe.
And basically, too, generic Middle Eastern country B, the bad guys, they also have their team of mercenaries, right?
Well, they've hired mercenaries.
They've hired mercenaries.
So basically, good guy country is fighting mercenaries with more mercenaries.
Right. So they
with
also both have
Megaforce.
their teams of mercenaries.
Right. So they show up and they meet Dallas, who is our good friend Michael Beck.
Oh, good old Michael Beck.
My favorite character in this movie. My least favorite character in Xanadu. Go figure.
Go figure.
So anyway, we find out that Ace Hunter, the head of Megaforce, is Barry Bostwick, which I wouldn't trust Barry Bostwick with a gun, let alone an entire army.
The casting of Barry Bostwick as this character is simultaneously probably the worst decision they could have made, but also the best decision they could have made because
he is all in
because
on this movie.
it doesn't matter who they would have put in this role. This movie was going to be bad, but by having Barry Bostwick in this role, it really does lend this insane sense of fun. Because he is giving it his damnedest.
Oh, and what's funny is that Hal Needham hired him after watching him perform on stage The Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah, oh, wow, okay.
Which is funny because
makes
he
a
does
shit ton of
have
sense.
a lot of swashbuckling moves, and I have a feeling Hal Needham's like, you're just be a charming pirate like Han Solo or something, but put some flair into it.
Yeah. Oh, he put some flair into it.
He put some flair into this. But so basically, the rest of the movie. So in the first 20 minutes, that all happens where they hire Megaforce, and the rest of the hour and 20 minutes that are left in the movie are executing their plan.
Yeah.
Which included a nighttime strike against the bad guy mercenaries that was to take 4 minutes, and they actually put the clock up on screen, which is kind of awesome. And they blow up all the bad guys' camp and everything, which now that I think about it, okay, we'll get to that here in a minute. We'll get to that here in a minute.
Oh, Jeff's starting to think about it now.
So basically, what ends up happening is the last 30 to 40 minutes of the movie is finding out that Megaforce is kind of trapped where they are. The country that hired their mercenaries cries foul and basically says, well, if good guy country hired these people like we think they did, and they allow them safe passage out of this area through their country, that is an act of war, and we are at war, basically. Good guy country balks because they're I think they're meant to be a bunch of kind of liberal bureaucrat pussies.
Yeah.
Whereas Megaforce is like basically every single guy is Chuck Norris.
Oh yeah. I mean they're the epitome of the machismo military. We just want to fuck shit up.
We just want to fight,
and America wins the day.
Except for they're not all American.
Yeah,
it's an
they're
international
force.
That's why I say it's more like G.I. Joe.
Yeah, it's like G.I. Joe. It's
because
like,
each person has their own personality and their own traits.
It's like the anti-UN in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Right. Like if the UN were made up of a bunch of meatheads, it would be the Megaforce.
Yeah. Okay, so if the UN was a bunch of college quarterbacks.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Yep.
So basically, what ends up happening is that Megaforce is super fucking awesome at everything they do, except when this supposedly secret force gets trapped in the demilitarized zone between these two countries. Their only way that they can really successfully get airlifted out is to be on the bad guy's side in this dry riverbed. So that gets me to thinking, which, by the way, spoiler alert, Megaforce gets out. It's fucking awesome. 4 stars. Check it out. Anyway, to quote my one of my heroes, Joe Bob Briggs there. So, all right, here's what I'm thinking about, right? So, now I'm no military tactician, but one would think that a super secret organization that's working for one country to either destabilize or destroy the forces of an enemy nation you would think that they wouldn't just go in and completely blow everything to shit. Like they would maybe do assassinations, or they would be urging for one country to go ahead and declare war so that they can just go in and do whatever they want. But yet, so they go in on the super secret middle of the night mission to blow everything up in 4 minutes, which they successfully do because they're fucking awesome. Go Megaforce. But they are caught dead to rights, essentially. Like they are immediately found out that they are probably there because of the neighboring countries' concerns over this revolution.
Yeah, the whole plan was stupid. From the start, the plan was actually to go in and blow some shit up, but bait the mercenary team from this other country to come across the border.
And that way they could legally fight them off and destroy them on the other countries.
Really what it is it's two countries that are headed towards war, but neither country wants to be the country that starts the war.
Right. There's plenty of people rattling sabers, but neither one wants to jab first.
Right. They want probably the international support of the world. They want to be able to point and say, well, they attacked us first.
Which is stupid to attack them to.
Right. It's a stupid plan.
Because the idea is ultimately, I mean, like, so basically.
I see what you're saying. You want probably more of like a covert kind of a disruption of their political regime.
Right.
You kind of want, maybe an assassination, maybe some spy shit.
Right.
Right.
But then again, this is the early 80s and army.
That's not like manly enough, Geoff.
No, I mean they would do it. I mean, a James Bond movie these days would do it that way.
Right.
A James Bond movie or any action movie from the early 80s would blow up a base.
A James Bond movie would start with that plan failing. Like the internal espionage, like all of that would have been failed and have come to a head in some way, and then it would be like, oh shit, we need to clean this up fast, call 007.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But so we get Megaforce instead, which is just like it's like killing an ant with a sledgehammer. It's like because there's a British guy who's working with the daughter of the president of Good Guy Country.
Yeah.
The daughter of the president is played by Persis Kambata, who was in Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which is what most people who know her from.
She's a sexy bald lady.
Right, but in this movie she has hair.
She's sexy with hair too.
Yeah. Agreed. So British guy here's the plan, and he's like, all right, sounds great. You go and do this in 4 minutes.
He's all enamored.
Oh man, he's all about
his rose-colored sunglasses. He is like being wooed by Michael Beck and Barry Bostwick. Oh my goodness.
Right.
He's like these guys have all the balls I wish I had.
But I'm British, and unfortunately I don't have them.
I'm British, and I have an ascot. You know, it's like.
Everybody had an ascot in this movie.
Oh god! Well, did they?
Yeah,
I think they had
the dress uniform, the dress unis
those
did
were
too.
just the vest things, right?
No, they
had ascots.
They had an ascot under it.
Oh gosh, what is it with ascots?
I don't know. They make you feel purty.
Lots of jumpsuits in this.
Oh yeah, lots of
spandex,
outlines of
tight
dongs.
Pants. Yeah, lots of. You see all of the male anatomy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of almost like what's that one? What was it? Stu Goodbody, or what was the name? Something Goodbody. Where it was basically a guy in tights that showed like all of his musculature.
Oh yeah, like the toy. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then there was a guy though who did like fitness videos and stuff too. Anyway, it was for kids.
Really?
Because it was like to show like the inside.
Okay. It was like the male. It was the literally anatomy suit.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I'm glad we got that settled.
Yeah, that was weird.
Because it might raise questions about what kind of school I went to.
But yes, I know what you mean.
So the British guy was like, okay, well, you did your job a little too well because they saw right through the bait.
Yeah, why the fuck wouldn't they?
Because
to your point,
because you should blow one thing up,
yeah,
and then say, all right, come on over. Oh, you're on our side, and then fight him.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like fucking game of Red Rover. You know, it's like trying to like
right.
it's the freaking Monty Python. You know, I fart in your general direction. You know?
Right. And so,
You want to take probably a more psychological approach if that's your goal.
right, but again, sledgehammer to kill an ant.
Yeah.
Megaforce is too good at their job.
I mean, they have lasers.
Fuck yeah, they got lasers.
I mean, he should have known it was going to go this way. The very first time they see them, they're on all of these motorcycles, and they're going through this test course, and these fucking beach balls are being like, I don't know,
tossed into the air,
and
like almost like skeet shooting.
And they're blowing them up from their motorcycles,
they're popping wheelies,
rockets,
so
they're popping wheelies, and it's like, oh my god, yeah, you knew it was going to go this way. You don't just load a gun with Megaforce and expect it to just fire one single little bullet. No, it's fucking 10,000 bazookas.
Right, and lasers. We gotta have lasers. So I mean, this is a movie that is like the epitome of the action schlock genre of the 80s.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like we were talking about how, you know, Hal Needham says that this was a good right-wing kind of action movie, and it's very true. A lot of the action movies of the 80s were very right-wing. I said that, you know, it was like the Canon guys sat down and watched this movie, and it's like, well, I know what we're going to do now. Except for they also copied the success route too, because all their movies failed horribly too. Except for a couple, like Delta Force and Cobra were the only two that succeeded.
And was Cobra really a hit?
Yeah,
it was
really
a hit.
was.
That's a good movie. I'm not surprised.
We'll talk about Cobra sometime.
George Cosmatos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, this movie is just.
It's
silly, man.
Well,
it is silly, but it's so awesome because it's such throwaway entertainment that, I mean, like, there's long stretches of nothing plot-wise going on. It's just look at our cool shit and look at how awesome our army is.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, this movie can really be encapsulated, and I guess best explained by the moment when our hero Ace Hunter, Barry Bostwick, confronts his mercenary pal who's on the other side of the lines, which we'll talk about in a minute. And he says to him, I just wanted to let you know personally that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.
And it gives a thumbs up.
And it gives him like thumbs up, this big shit-eating grin, and he puts a cigar in the guy's mouth, right? And it's like that is exactly what this movie is.
It's such. One could argue that it's one of those things that is very what's the word I'm looking for? Objectivist. Whereas, you know, it's like we are told what is good. Megaforce is good. They can do no wrong, even though they are doing wrong all over the place.
Yeah, even if they're blowing everything up, it's all for the best.
Right, and so they are right.
Trust us.
Yeah, they are best, and their way is the way that it should go. However, they probably legitimately plunged two nations into war with one another. Like,
yeah.
Now, but granted.
Oh, yeah. Those two countries were not going to have a happy ending after this.
No. Now, granted, they
escalated the problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Even though they were hired to do a specific thing, they did it too well. It's like literally, it would be like. It'd be like. So Jason and I want to rob the marathon down the street. So in order to do so, to get the monies inside there, I'm gonna hire the fucking Marines, and they'll do it for me. But what they do is they completely obliterate the place.
Yeah, they blow up the marathon.
Right. That's what we're dealing with here. It's kind of
they essentially rather than just doing the job quietly and involving the local police probably to investigate and be a low priority crime, they fucking blow up the joint, kill everybody inside, and now it's an act of terrorism.
Right, and in the blood of the poor guy behind the counter says Geoff and Jason was here. Yeah. Oh no, we hired the wrong people. Oh no, better lawyer up. with the money that's like half burned from the cash register. By the way, we're not thinking about.
No, I don't.
We're gonna. No, it's not the marathon. It's the Circle K across the street.
What's an easier target?
So I mean, so
I don't think we really knew how we wanted to approach talking about this movie because it's not good 80s objectivism. It's pretty bad because it's not like the Delta Force where it's pretty clear kind of.
Well, they're fighting a direct terrorist.
Right.
The guy we saw at the beginning of that movie, like basically hijack a plane.
Or like a movie like Iron Eagle even.
Like I've compared this a lot to G.I. Joe because I really do feel like this is almost an inspiration for that type of stuff. Like the 80s were just so full of, like we said, like Iron Eagle and Delta Force and Rambo and,
Yep.
All of these different, hell, even Schwarzenegger was in things like Commando and various things like that, where they didn't always show like death and dismemberment, the horrors of war, but there was always that objectivist, yay, we're the good guys, and we are on the side of angels.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think you got to be careful when you lump in Stallone and Schwarzenegger into those because those were definitely like those were almost slasher films in a way with how they would kill people in magnificent ways, right?
And those guys did make much more R-rated movies. Whereas
it was the same type of machismo,
yeah,
but it was definitely more for an adult audience,
right?
Yeah.
Whereas something like this, or like the cartoons of the era,
it
where
feels more like a propaganda almost,
right?
Yeah.
It was like, hey kids, it's like might makes right, and as long as you're on the side of the angels, you'll always be the good guys,
right?
No
matter what you blow up.
No matter what you blow up. Because, it's like, the whole thing that everybody knows about, like the G.I. Joe cartoon, for example. It's like, first of all, every character, all the good guy characters have a separate personality. Megaforce, every member of Megaforce gets their moment to be their own personality.
Yeah. It's a bunch of characters.
Right, and they're international, so they also fit into stereotypes too, which is, kind of innocent fun. And like you never see them actually kill any good guys, even though they are blowing the shit out of everything.
Yeah, there's no hand-to-hand combat. In this movie,
there's no
which
gunfire.
It really
there's
isn't.
rocket
All
fire
rockets
and lasers.
It's a shit ton of rockets and lasers. That's really true.
God, can you imagine if that's if war was fought like on a missile command game or something where it's just you're just shooting missiles and rockets. It's like you never have to shoot somebody or look them in the eye and kill them.
Yeah, and I think that goes into hand in hand with this sort of idea of kind of where modern warfare is going with drones and the fact that you don't really have to get your hands dirty much anymore, or at least that's the way it's kind of trending, where you can build these drones, you can build these machines that are autonomous that you can just pilot from afar,
right.
and there's almost a separation of even a moral conscience because you're not physically doing an act which takes away a multitude of lives. So
right, it's one of those things where it's like if I have always kind of felt like there's two main reasons why we don't go to war too often on a large scale. One, nobody wants to be the ruler of a cinder block, basically, or of the cinder, basically, the burning leftover, whatever nuclear waste wouldn't destroy.
Nobody wants the responsibility of picking up the pieces.
Right.
Yeah.
And on a more positive note, we'll go and fight somebody that we feel like we have to fight, but it's hard to send people off to their death. And nobody wants to do that on that large of a scale. Now, that may be a little naive to say that, but I believe that if if you take away the human element and you're just flying a drone around and pew, 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 blowing up, everybody's going to go to war all the time. That's what I mean. There's no worry about the loss of life. There's no letters you have to write to somebody's mom or whatever. You know.
I mean, I don't want to get too introspective in a fucking Megaforce episode, but I mean,
yeah, we got to get back to these bazookas.
But I mean, there is a sense of that in the world today, of this sort of isolationism. I don't think in the last few conflicts that we've had in the United States that most civilians have a really good sense of the danger that humans put themselves in those conflicts, and the true magnitude of death that occurs. I think a lot of people don't. I also equate it to the fact that a lot of people are happy to eat a steak, but they don't really want to think of that steak as
a moo
cow, right? So I think as a society, we're isolating ourselves more and more mentally and psychologically from those ideas, but yet still want to eat our meat and still want this sense of safety. So we're more than happy to allow what we consider our betters, in air quotes, to make hard decisions for us. And I think that's where you start to really truly allow your own morality to decay, because you're not taking responsibility for your own you're probably not taking responsibility for your own choices, and you're taking for granted some of the things that you have.
Right.
But that's about as in depth as I'll get in a Megaforce episode.
One could say that we could have just summed up what you just said as people like to eat their cake and have it. Have their cake and eat it too. Eat their cake and have it too.
Yeah, and they don't care if the baker is chained to a wall to give them cake. I don't know. But whatever.
So
but this movie in particular, is very good about sanitizing the violence. It's like, people in the 80s like explosions, so we're going to give them lots of that. They're fun to look at.
This movie was probably made with the idea in mind that kids can go watch it too. Yeah, I mean, it's, it's not.
There's no blood. There's no gore. There's lots of explosions. There's a faceless enemy. There's a true good.
Even the leader of the bad guy army is pals with the Barry Bostwick character, which we'll talk about that here in just a moment. But
I think that's probably where this movie really truly finds its fault in that sort of 80s archetype action film, though, is because I don't feel like there is truly a clear enemy.
Right. There should be.
You're told Megaforce is good, but you're not really quite sure why the bad guys are bad.
Right.
Other than you're just told they're bad.
And one could argue, like, Megaforce's whole plan was to, we're going to coax them over the border. We're going to bring them over the border so that you can legally
which is kind of a piece of shit thing to do.
Right. It's one could say that it's
entrapment.
Yeah, it's a little sinister, really.
Yeah, it's very sinister.
It's what bad guys
calculating,
would do.
Yeah.
It's what bad guys would do. But whatever, Megaforce is good. Henry Silva, who plays Guerrera, who's the bad guy. Bad guy. He's
a charming motherfucker.
He is. He's having a good time. Yeah. Man. He's just chewing that scenery too.
Ace.
Ace.
You get a sense that he's legitimately excited every time he sees Ace, even though they're enemies.
Right.
It's
well,
awesome.
They were friends, but they're on opposite sides of a conflict.
Yeah.
Or at least the conflict of each of these countries' interests, being kind of at odds with one another.
And I guess the only time you really get, for me, a sense of why Guerrera is how he's different from Ace is that he calls Ace an idealist, and he thinks of his men, his soldiers as
numbers.
As numbers.
He shouts it as a matter of fact. Numbers.
You're all numbers. Yeah, yeah. He doesn't understand.
If you throw enough bodies at it, doesn't matter how many you lose, you should still win.
Yeah, he's kind of a pragmatist almost in a way, or like
which is
utilitarianism to the extreme.
It's the opposite point of view of what the future. I mean, because really, if you think about like what we were just saying, it's like the future is drones. The future is minimize the cost of actual life, maximize the ability to destroy things without
Yeah.
a human being involved.
Yep. Yep.
So that Megaforce is all about that. They're all about the technology, keeping them safe, keeping them ahead of the bad guys. Whereas Henry Silva is the old school Patton in a tank.
Yeah.
We just got to blow up stuff, and if we lose some guys, well, as long as they lose more guys, we win.
Yep.
They're numbers.
We'll overwhelm them with the numbers. Yeah. Which that's actually interesting too, because the Megaforce.
Megaforce. You got to say it
the
like that.
Megaforce.
Megaforce.
They don't want to leave any man behind, and they don't lose a guy in the whole damn thing.
Right. Even Delta Force lost a guy.
Yeah. I mean, nobody even gets injured in this movie. Not even
no
like,
scratch.
You know, with scratch, no limp, no scene where
ripped,
one guy in Megaforce
outfit?
is helping another guy with.
Nope.
Out and
no, there was one scene where a Megaforce guy fell off his bike.
There was,
and Hal Needham's like, well, I'll make a video of that and show it to him because he's embarrassed. I mean, it's like they're just having a good time.
Yeah, it's almost like that's just whatever.
Nice riding bike, you fucking nerd.
Yeah, they're gonna give him shit for it for the next 6 months.
Right, they'll probably make him clean toilets with his toothbrush or something. But
I remember the time you fell off your bike during the mission.
Fucking nerd. Give him a wedgie and shit. Nice trip. See you next fall. But speaking of Hal Needham in his little operations center, let's talk about your favorite scene, or at least the scene that you're most confused by.
I am very confused by this scene. I also maintain that it's probably the only scene where you see actual death.
I agree with you on this, actually. But I think there's an actual technical reason, but we'll get to that.
But we're going to prefer and pretend that it's not a technical reason. Anyway.
No, I'd rather it be fucking death.
So what we have is a scene where we actually see some of the enemy soldiers for once doing something to attack, rather than just being in a tank waiting to get blown up.
This is during the 4-minute sequence that the clock on the actual
Screen
movie is ticking down.
Yeah,
this is the attack that is meant to coax them over the border,
right,
which they ultimately do too good of a job of.
So they're about to escape and back to home base, and there's these 3 enemies. They're setting up what looks like kind of like a ground bazooka setup kind of thing,
like a bazooka holder.
Yeah, it's on a tripod, and they're about ready to fire. And Hal Needham, the director of the movie, who is kind of the command center,
he's the technician there.
Yeah, he's kind of keeping everybody appraised of where all the pieces are on the board, and who's attacking where and what needs to happen. He's kind of pulling the strings, if you will. From a bird's eye view. So he sees these guys somehow on some screen. It makes no sense. And he starts confirming with the ace that it's not one of theirs. And he's like, nope, not one of our theirs. Take care of them, Hal. And he goes bleep, bloop, 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 and hits some buttons. And then
bleep, bloop, bloop. That's the actual sound effect. I edited that in there.
And then you cut back to where the bazooka on the tripod is. And the 3 guys aren't there anymore, and all that happens is this wisp of smoke and the snap of an explosion, and it goes psst.
Yeah.
And this wisp of smoke goes into the air, and I'm like, what happened to the guys? It's like they got vaporized.
We even rewound it, and it's like, well, I guess they're not there anymore.
We watched it twice, and we're like, wait a minute. It gives you this idea that they just
ran away. I mean, like, what did they do? Like, okay, so in the logic of how everything plays out in this movie, you have to assume that they just simply ran away. But why?
Why would they run away?
Now, it would be one thing if the little thing went, psh, and they were like, "Oh no!" and then they ran away, and then Hal Needham's like, "Ha ha, I got them."
Or if they just somehow was able to explode the whole damn thing, But the thought is that they had some sort of effect that they wanted to pull off here. And I have a theory that maybe they wanted to blow it up, like they blew everything up, but it didn't quite work. Like
it was like a dud?
It was a dud, yeah. So it just whisked this smoke. And obviously, if they're going to blow this shit up, they needed the guys clear of the bazooka, but they weren't expecting you to see so clearly in the frame that there was no one there because it should have been an explosion.
It's like, whatever, check the gate, moving on.
So yeah, so it's like, well, I guess that'll do. And now you kind of are left with this scene that looks like they somehow vanished these guys.
Vanished them into like another world.
Yeah, they vanished them into particles.
Oh my god. Could you imagine Megaforce 2? These three guys show up like in this fucking hellscape. And it's like, where the fuck are we?
I think they should be in like the Krypton prison thing.
The Phantom Zone?
Yeah, the Phantom Zone.
Like they just fly up.
I think that's where they are. They're in the Phantom Zone.
It's like, oh my god, we're in here with Terrence Stamp and the big guy and that lady. Yeah.
Oh, Superman. Oh, Megaforce.
Oh my god, Megaforce versus Superman 2.
Oh my god. Okay. Yeah.
I will give somebody $100 to make that movie.
I want that edit for sure.
Not an edit. I want them to actually fucking make it. I don't care if it's the neighborhood kids making it. It's like, hey kids, I'll give you $100 if you make this movie.
That would be fantastic, right? The neighborhood kids just made Megaforce versus Superman 2. That would be a sensation.
Oh my god!
Like you could sell that for $5 a pop, easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'd sell it on little VHS tapes, like not the
Beta.
the mini tapes.
I don't know. I'm gonna need that in DVD transfer. I'm not hip with the VHS craze.
I think that though, if you're gonna make Megaforce versus Superman 2, it's gotta be made with VHS camcorders that you buy at Goodwill.
Oh yeah.
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 Like the big ones, Like,
yeah.
Oh man.
Of course, which will put it directly onto a VHS tape, and it will sell that tape.
It'll be edited in the tape.
In the camera
with 2 VCRs.
Right.
Yeah.
It'll
the
be
camera and another VCR. Yeah.
Right. And actually, no editing. Well, but we're gonna find out what happens to those three guys.
No editing, because one take for every scene.
Moving on.
Doesn't matter. Moving on.
Because that's what this movie was.
Yeah.
This movie is however many scenes it is that many takes. I kind of feel like, because there was one point in time where Persis Kambata says something, and I'm like, you sure you don't want to take one more stab at that?
Yeah.
It's like it's real wooden.
There are moments with Barry Bostwick's audio that's just
gone.
It drops.
It's just gone.
It's gone.
It's like whatever he said is not important.
Nope. Moving on.
Which the big tagline of this movie is "Deeds, not words."
Yeah, I never actually heard that said.
They said it at one point. We were talking.
I saw it on shit, but I never heard him say it.
Megaforce is all about we don't say what we're going to do. We're going to do what we do.
Deeds, not words.
Which is, I guess, admirable. I mean, it's saying that. Well, it's not saying anything because deeds, not words.
Well, it's not even do as you say. It's like just fucking do it. It's a Nike campaign.
It's Yoda. It's Yoda saying like, try not. We're gonna fucking do this.
Just
we're not
do
gonna
it.
say that we're gonna blow these guys up. We're gonna fucking blow these guys up. We're not just gonna say, wouldn't it be nice to vaporize some fucking bazooka guys? We're gonna
vaporize some bazooka guys.
Yeah, fucking.
Whether you understand that's what happened or not.
Right. It doesn't matter what you think. We are on the side of right. Fuck you. We're right. We win. Megaforce.
Lasers.
Yeah, that's right.
Deeds, not words.
Deeds, not words.
Which is kind of a fucking dangerous tagline.
Why? Well, explain. Let's get into this.
Right. I mean, I think that. All right. The danger of getting too introspective on Megaforce again.
I think this is the perfect time to be introspective.
Deeds, not words is like, it's the perfect 80s tagline, 80s action movie tagline for sure. But words are pretty fucking important. Like the intent behind things is pretty fucking important.
Well, but
diplomacy is pretty fucking important.
I don't disagree with you on that, but Megaforce.
I'm just saying that's kind of a fucked up thing to sell to kids, and this movie was definitely sold to kids.
Well, yeah, they have Hot Wheels and shit.
Yeah, Hot Wheels and Mattel was involved.
They made the costumes.
They made the costumes.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole movie was packaged to sell, but then nobody was buying.
I would have bought all of it. No, here's the thing. They're not saying that words are unimportant, or that even diplomacy is unimportant. They're saying we're not just going to tell you that we're the best. We're going to prove it. Megaforce.
Simply the best.
Megaforce.
Well, we're Megaforce.
Right.
I mean,
it's like we're not just a force.
We're
a
a
fucking
mega force. I mean,
we're all the
everything about that screams we get shit fucking exploded.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're also clandestine.
But not enough. They're not
well,
even.
The two people knew to go find them.
I mean, they put their fucking shit on their lighters. Their Megaforce.
Yes, they do.
I mean,
they're selling T-shirts in the bottom of their cave.
They're seriously like one dinner meeting away from a fucking Nike contract. I swear to God, like they are ready to take this shit mainstream.
Yeah, but you know what? They'd probably settle for like Reebok or something.
Yeah, I was thinking it.
Yeah.
That if this movie had a sneaker sponsor, it would have been Reebok
Or Adidas.
Yeah.
I could see Michael Beck wearing an Adidas shirt. Skull had some money in this movie.
I'm surprised. What was it, 83? I might have been
82, goddammit.
That was too early for the Nike or the Reebok pumps, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
That was like late 80s.
But Adidas shirts were all over the fucking place by the late 70s, early 80s. So I bet Adidas would have
been all about it.
I'm not even sure. When did Nike begin?
Oh, Nike was in the 70s, I think.
Okay.
But they didn't.
It was whenever Prefontaine was around, right? Because didn't he wear Nikes?
Yeah.
Because it was his coach that created them.
That created him.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so.
Which, weirdly, I don't know if you ever watched that Wild Wild Country documentary, but apparently the creator of Nike was involved in, like, the counter assault on that cult, like, politically, because it would take place in Oregon, and he was, like, a famous businessman in Oregon at the time, and it was anyway, that's a tangent we don't need to go down, but yeah, that's a weird place to go. Colts and Nike. Megaforce. Just, that's all you got to do to get an episode like this back on track, is just say Megaforce.
I've got some notes about Megaforce. Would you like to hear them?
Let's hear them.
We had a little bit of technical difficulty here. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I can edit it also. Hal Needham was the director of Smokey and the Bandit, Hooper, Cannonball Run, and Stroker Ace. All Burt Reynolds movies. Where the fuck was Burt Reynolds? Probably couldn't afford him for this movie.
Well, what did you say about Burt Reynolds in what was the one you said it wasn't his, or not? God damn it! You're gonna have to edit this out too. The not Burt Reynolds. Tom Selleck?
Oh, yeah. So Golden Harvest was the production company that had a 4-movie, $50 million situation set up to make 4 movies. That Golden Harvest is a Chinese company,
I think, yeah.
that was trying to break into the American market.
Yeah.
And they made one movie with Jackie Chan, which is The Enforcer?
The Enforcer or The Protector?
The Protector.
It might be The Protector. It's actually a good one.
I think it is The Protector, actually. The Enforcer is, I think, Dirty Harry.
And it's got I think it was maybe the first Jackie Chan U.S. crossover film, because it's got Danny Aiello in it. It's actually a good movie.
Yeah, it is The Protector. Then the other one was High Road to China, which was the Tom Selleck movie.
Yes.
Now, Hal Needham didn't have anything to do with these movies, but that Tom Selleck one is very, very marketed to the Raiders of the Lost Ark fans, which Tom Selleck was initially cast as Indiana Jones, or was the
and there were a few of those kind of knockoffs too.
Oh, yeah.
Like Michael Douglas had his
Romancing
the Stone, yeah.
Yeah, Cannon got into it with the Alan Quartermain.
Oh, fuck yeah. Which is actually kind of an interesting way to go with that type of story, because it
is a pulp figure. But,
yeah, and it's a known entity, sucks. But yeah, they're bad. I mean,
the second movie I haven't watched yet. That one's got Elvira in
you
it.
could have really taken that property though and done something interesting with it.
Yeah, probably.
But it was
unfortunately,
it was canon. Yeah.
They also Golden Harvest. I couldn't find this, but at one point in time, I covered this on B Movie Enema, Megaforce. And at one point in time, I had seen that Blade Runner was the 4th movie of that group.
That's really interesting.
All all of those movies failed horribly. But I mean, obviously, Megaforce has its place in pop culture. Jackie Chan fans are going to love The Protector.
Yeah,
probably.
it's a good movie.
The High Road to China, I've heard of
never
that,
even
but I've
heard of
never
it.
seen it. I didn't know that Tom Selleck was in it, but I'd heard that title.
And Blade
of
Runner,
course, Blade Runner
is a sci-fi classic.
right? Which is funny because even its sequel didn't do exceptionally well. I guess people just don't like highbrow.
That's one we need to talk about sometime.
Yeah, actually, I would like to do both of those in one episode because it's one big story.
Yeah,
really.
it absolutely is.
I have a feeling I'm going to be a little bit more on the side of the original, and you're going to be a little bit more on the side of the new one.
I don't know. Quick 30 seconds. The original is amazing. I love it. It's one of my favorite movies ever made. I really, really liked the sequel a lot, but I don't think it's necessary to make me enjoy the first one more. Which I think sometimes if a good sequel in the same story should do that. It should kind of complement the first movie more than it did, I believe. But I liked it. I liked it a lot. I think the way where they took the story was really interesting.
Yeah.
And I do agree, like the concepts of and the headiness, I guess, if you will, was interesting. So yeah, I liked it.
We'll eventually talk about it one day.
My feeling,
I had some issues with the second one, but I think it's a general attitude I have about movies in general these days. But we'll talk about it when we get to it.
I have a feeling we'll probably be closer aligned than you think.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll talk out of episode before we start up our next movie for today.
Yep.
So another thing is this movie has been referenced a few times by Matt Stone and Trey Parker.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, they references it in an actual South Park episode, but also Team America is Megaforce.
Yeah.
I mean, just flat out, it's their version of that type of over the top movie. We mentioned Hot Wheels had toys. I desperately want some, but they are very expensive and pricey. But there was an Atari 2600 game too. I believe I've seen.
Of course there was
screen grabs of that.
Of course
I think
there
it's
was.
the flying motorcycle, which we're going to talk about flying motorcycle.
Oh God! Oh God!
This movie was unjustly nominated for 3 Razzies.
Unjustly, including
It should have
worst
been nominated
picture.
for 3 Oscars.
It was also maybe sort of referenced in Bruno Mattei's Alienators, aka Terminator 2.
Yeah, go back a few weeks, you'll hear that.
We'll talk about that briefly.
Yes. Hal Needham cast Barry Bostwick after seeing him in a stage version of Pirates of Penzance, which totally makes sense because he's very flamboyant in this, like a swashbuckler flamboyant. I'm not saying like he's like gay. Like flamboyant, like a swashbuckler. Like everything he does, he finishes. He has like a finishing, like topper to like.
He is
mugging.
He's the Pirates of Penzance. He's the Scarlet Pimpernel. You're right. He's freaking Captain Blood. He's Errol Flynn in this movie.
Right.
You're fucking right. I mean, he's Errol Flynn in this movie.
But let's talk about flying motorcycle because this is the thing that everybody remembers about this movie, for better or worse.
So, full disclosure, this is the first time I've seen this movie. I've known about this movie.
You've never seen this scene?
I've seen the costumes. I've seen the ridiculousness of some of the stuff.
Well, you've seen my poster on my refrigerator.
I've seen the poster.
By the way, I unabashedly love this movie.
I had never seen the scene. And it was funny because every time there was something absolutely bonkers happening, Geoff is just like, just wait.
Yeah, just wait.
Stay on target.
Keep watching.
Stay on target.
I called this the cum shot, of the money shot of the whole movie.
And it is amazing. And I think it's Geoff's favorite part of the movie.
It sure fucking is.
So, like, I was able to talk about the vanishing, vaporized goons. Geoff is going to give you a breakdown of this scene.
By the way, I think we should write a movie called The Vanishing Goons.
The Vanishing Goons in the Phantom Zone. The Vanishing Goons in the Phantom Zone.
I'm thinking like the Phantom Creeps. like
Okay.
like an old black and white
Yeah.
like monster movie.
The Vanishing Goons. Oh,
The
we could.
Vanishing
We
Goons.
could shoot it super low budget with the neighborhood kids on black and white
Oh my god, we're gonna be on a list.
with a little bit of tracking in it. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right.
What if, Jeff, if the tracking of the VHS was a special effect? We made it a special effect, and that was them when they get vaporized. So when they get vaporized, it goes to the tracking, and it's like bzz, and they like bzz all the way up to the top of the screen, and then we kind of transition it into something else. But that would be cool. It's almost like you
could cut in frames of that video from The Ring
yeah.
to like fuck with people.
There you go. There you
All
go. And we'll just make people vomit subconsciously.
It's like I'm just watching this. Oh my god, what happened?
I don't know what I just saw, but I'm pretty sure it was a lot of dicks.
It's just a bunch of dicks.
Every 12 frames is a cock.
So,
Yeah.
oh boy, Cox.
Barry Bostwick cock.
Oh my
Barry
god.
Boss cock.
God, he needs to come to one of these conventions someday.
He does.
Oh my god.
Wait, I think he was at one not that long ago.
I think he was at a.
Yeah.
I think he was at a horror.
He was
hound.
like a horror hound or something. Yeah.
or it was either that or Comic Con, but
I think they had a couple Rocky Horror people.
yeah,
Yeah. I think that's
but
what it was.
not the big ones like Susan Sarandon
No, fuck no.
or the guy who wrote it. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. Sorry, but yeah.
He was in. He was in Flash Gordon also. Anyway,
yeah.
he was Timothy Dalton's number 2. So all right, so Barry Bostwick is he's like, all right, everybody, we got to go through the dried out riverbed to get out of here, but Henry Silva's tanks are waiting for them. Now, by
Yeah.
the way, they have to go through this because it's the only place that their carrier jets
can
can
land.
land to pick them up.
Yeah. Because they have to be airlifted out of here.
They got to get out. They got to get the fuck out of there. Originally, it was not going to be a problem because the idea was that once they started the skirmish, at that point in time, they would be free to come and go wherever they needed to.
Right. In fact, you get a sense that they wouldn't even be doing anything at all. They'd go back into Good Country and let Good Country's military handle.
Oh yeah, they were
Bad
only
countries.
there to
Yeah.
they were only there to coax them to the other side of the
Yeah, they
border.
were playing Ding Dong Ditch, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The explosion version of Ding Dong Ditch. Instead of ringing the doorbell, you blow up the door.
You just got Megaforced. So Barry Bostwick's like, all right, everybody, we got to go. And so they just go fucking balls out down this dried out riverbed. And Henry Silva's blowing everybody up, or trying to blow everybody up, but they're fucking terrible at their jobs because they're bad guys and they can't hit shit. That's another trope that's often seen in these types of movies,
Yeah.
where it's like bad guys can have you dead to rights
And miss.
and miss badly, but they'll get fucking taken out.
Oh, everything
Like a
the
chunk.
good guys do, every rocket hits its mark.
Yes. So, these big planes are going to come in. I guess I just realized why there were 2 planes and why they left all their tech behind. Because one plane was going to take half the team. The other plane was going to take the other half so they could take their motorcycles and shit.
Oh, yeah.
But they had to leave it behind because only one plane could land. One plane gets damaged, in other words, is what I'm trying to get at. The other plane lands. Well, Barry Bostwick does get knocked off a motorcycle at one point. And he kind of like shakes the cobwebs out.
This is the worst thing that can happen in the Megaforce. If you're a member of the Megaforce,
You cannot be
the worst
separated from
thing
your bike.
that you could happen is get knocked off your motorcycle because you were going to be ridiculed for at least a year.
Nobody's ridiculing Ace Hunter, though.
But you know that Dallas, every once in a while, they're like, remember that time? Remember that time?
Yeah, well, Dallas is
You
having a
goon.
good time.
You
We're
got
gonna
you
talk
got
about Dallas.
you got knocked off your motorcycle.
Yeah.
You a fucking nerd. Yeah.
We'll talk about Dallas here in just a second here. But so Barry Bostwick's like, oh, oof, where am I? What's going on here? all right, here's a fucking motorcycle here. I'm going to go cruising up to Henry Silva's tank, knock on the thing, and Henry Silva comes out. He's like, hey!
It's amazing. It's honestly, it's like...
He is chewing scenery,
He is
man.
so excited to see Ace, and it's inexplicable why, other than they are truly buddies.
They have like a bromance that we don't know about.
Yeah, it's
I mean, if I were Dallas, I'd be like jealous.
It's kind of like Dom and Hobbs, man.
Yeah, a little bit. So
if you were Dallas, you'd be jealous.
Yeah. So Henry Silva opens up and he's like, "Hey, Ace, what's going on?" And Ace is like, "Just want to let you know that the good guys always win, even in the 80s. Shit-eating grin, thumbs up, yeah. See you later." And Guerrero's like, "Oh my God, Ace, he's so dreamy.
He's the best. I love Ace."
Yeah. So Ace takes off on his motorcycle, and earlier in the movie, the science brain guy behind everything, which is named Egg, probably for Egghead.
Yeah, you know? Smart.
He says, "Okay, 1, 2," with like using right thumb, left thumb, 1, 2. And like Barry Bostwick, even before going on the mission, is like, "Wait a minute, it's 1, 2, right? All right, got it."
Oh, I just got your 1, 2 thing.
So
every time you said 1, 2, I thought it was a sexual innuendo. I thought it was going to be
a little bit of number one, a little bit of number 2.
Well, actually, I was thinking number 1 would be Dallas, and number 2 would be Ace, and they'd both be giving it to the chick from Star Trek.
Oh,
that's what I was thinking. The old 1, 2, yeah. I thought that was early on, and I didn't know what direction this movie was going.
Let's be serious.
I've been watching a lot of smut recently, and I thought that this movie had smut potential. It could have really gone to a smutty place if it wanted to.
This is Megaforce, man.
This would make a really good smutty movie if you just added a few scenes of hardcore sex,
right on top of a fucking tank.
Yeah, that too.
I'd be into that.
All right. Yeah. See, you're already on board.
So, what about like a pinup shot of Persis Kambata on the tank nozzle?
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know,
oh, definitely.
Hitching the skirt up.
Oh yeah, she's kind of like hanging off of the tank barrel. Yeah. Ooh yeah. That work.
So Barry Bostwick's Ace is like taking off on his motorcycle. And he's like, "All right, number 1," and he clicks it. And little wings come out.
Yeah.
And you're not sure what's going to happen.
I'm still not sure.
It's like, I mean, this is the most amazing thing ever.
I'm expecting like a rocket of some sort and him to rocket off.
Nope.
And onto the back of the plane.
Off, but so then he hits number 2, which starts like a turbine engine out of the back of a motorcycle, which all of this seems really dangerous, but whatever, Megaforce. So, and then he lifts off into the air, and he's got a flying fucking motorcycle.
He's flying his motorcycle,
and it's like against this really bad backdrop. And
his hair, his glorious blonde hair, is just waving in the wind and fluttering in the wind, and he's got this shit-eating grin on his face, like it's the greatest thing ever. He's flying his motorcycle. It's like if you're in Megaforce, this is your pop shot.
This is the moment.
Yeah.
So, you know, he and like Dallas is watching, like all that Ace he's got going on.
Ace.
I am so gonna beat off to him tonight. So Ace eventually catches up to the airplane on his flying motorcycle, and he like gets off the motorcycle, and then he like pops up in the frame, and he like gives another shit-eating grin and like a finger gun, almost like a
I made it.
And everybody's like, "Yay!"
It's like Captain Blood just swung down from the mast of the ship, of the tall ship, onto the deck of the boat, and it's like, ha!
And it's so great. Look it up on.
Oh, he also does a 360.
Oh yeah, one point
he lands,
he goes upside down on the motorcycle, which he would be totally mega dead.
And Michael Beck says, "Oh, you're gonna get sick if you keep doing that," or something like that.
It's like he's talking to him, but he can't.
But he can't hear him.
Yeah. He's just talking to himself.
He's doing like this southern accent. He's like, "Oh, you're just gonna get sick if you keep doing that."
Let's talk about Dallas.
Oh God,
for a second.
This is all you, man.
Okay, Dallas is by far and away the best character ever in a movie ever.
What if Jeff, they took Dallas from this movie, from Megaforce,
I know where you're going
and
with
put him in Xanadu?
It'd be the perfect movie.
It would be
amazing.
It would be better.
It would be amazing.
better.
It would make a lot more sense why he's dressed up as a cowboy at one point at the end.
Yes. Imagine Dallas from Megaforce on roller skates.
Rocket roller skates.
Yes! With the freaking Megaforce uniform on
my
and the
God.
helmet.
And a Xanadu jacket.
Oh, dude.
That's the perfect character right there. It's the perfect character in the perfect movie.
I think we need to pitch this to Michael Beck.
Oh, dude.
We could do it.
It's like, dude, how you doing? It's like, can you still skate a little bit?
Yeah. Can we dress you like Dallas from Megaforce, but put you in the Xanadu?
in
the Xanadu. Yeah.
Call up Olivia
I
Newton-John.
wonder what kind of budget we need to do this.
$10.
I think we should call Funny or Die. They might fund it.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so Dallas is the southerner of the group. Of course, he's from Texas. He's always wearing a cowboy hat. He's always throwing out not similes, metaphors. He's always slinging metaphors and imparting good old Southern wisdom on people. And everybody has a little patch of their nation on their sleeve.
God, yeah.
And, of course, he has the stars and bars, the Confederate flag.
The Confederate flag, yeah.
Which, it's like, I thought it's like, well, it should make more sense if he had the Texas flag. But whatever. He's just a good old boy. I'm guessing put the stars and bars in there because everybody wants to drive the General Lee, which is true. Everybody wanted to drive the General Lee.
Yeah, there's like the Confederate flag has had a weird pop culture history, and that's something we can talk about one day. But I think with Dallas, like
he's
you
so
said,
innocent.
like you said about Dallas. I mean, they put that patch on there just to drive it home that he's a Southern good old boy,
right?
Without really any political meaning whatsoever.
No, because one of his pals on Megaforce is the black guy who listens to classical music.
He solves Rubik's cubes in 30 seconds and listens to classical music and quotes Shakespeare.
And quotes Shakespeare. Yeah. But anyway, Dallas. Michael Beck, you redeemed yourself after Xanadu, but you have not had a particularly stellar movie career. I'm sorry.
But you could also do some Warriors crossover. So you could put his character from the Warriors on roller skates too.
I think he'd definitely get razzed about that by the other guys.
Oh man, that would be so funny.
But yeah.
Megaforce.
Megaforce.
What's the song at the end of Megaforce?
Oh, a little bit of this. Also a little bit of that. Fucking Megaforce.
Megaforce.
Yeah, I mean, so would you say that people should watch this movie?
Yeah, I would.
There's some boring bits where there's a lot of just character bullshit going on, and like Ace earning the kiss from Persis Kambata, where they are like she's a capable military person. She wants to join Megaforce, but she ultimately gets denied for actually a really good reason.
There's some silly shit.
But there's some silly shit in that training
scene.
But
it's funny. Like,
it is.
Like when
you have to see it.
When they parachute out of the plane.
Oh my God.
That is one of the most magical scenes in this movie. It is so
bad.
excruciatingly bad, but it's so hilarious.
And it's charming in its hilarity. Charming in its badness.
But yeah, I mean, we want. I think if we ever do our movie convention, our Rock-Con or our Mega-Con or Mega Festival,
Force Vention,
Force something or other.
Conforce Vention.
I think this is right there. This is right there with Raw Force in some ways of like this this machismo tough
Over the
guy,
top
over
stuff.
the top stuff. Raw Force is better.
Raw Force is way better. But Megaforce is so cheesy
Yeah.
that it can it is a movie so perfect of its time.
Yeah.
And it's so cheesy and so silly and so fun.
It is incredibly silly. Yeah. It's like if you cut the balls off the Delta Force in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because Delta Force I think was R-rated.
Yeah, I think it was.
But,
Delta Force is a pretty tough movie.
It is.
Like
it
it's
is. It's
there's
got that rockin' fucking theme song too.
Oh god, hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
But
watch this movie. If you can get it.
I mean,
it's silly. It's there's a really good riff tracks of it out there. That's pretty phenomenal too. But
Brian Bostwick as an action star is just hilarious in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it is every bit what anybody has ever said. Even the boring parts get to a certain section where it's like you just start laughing because you can't believe what your eyes are seeing. It is so. It's just one of those movies where it's like, how did this get made? I mean, like,
Yeah.
It's like, how does something like this go? Like, what was the script? It had to be pretty thin because there's a lot of moments of very little talking.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Like the actors involved in this movie, did they understand the tone going in?
Oh,
Or was it all just kind of directed on the fly? And
I've got a feeling that Barry Bostwick and Michael Beck knew exactly what they were doing.
yeah.
Because
They have pretty consistent performances.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do, and they are such characters, and they do come off like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
I mean, like so many cartoons follow this pattern of this type of movie where people don't die, the bad guy might be more like, oh shucks, they got me this time. Yeah.
There should have been action figures like this.
Oh my God, there should have been toys.
Ace Hunter action figure, a Dallas action figure. I mean, those things they were written to be action figures.
Hey, if you're listening and you are a fan of the show, you would like to give us something and you can customize figures, I would very much like a Dallas action figure. And maybe his truck to go along with his Bronco.
His Bronco with the
laser sticking out of the top?
laser gun at the top,
A little plastic laser gun out of the top. So,
and a ability to project a hologram.
Oh, of a beach lady.
Of a beach lady.
Yeah, one of the high tech things that Megaforce has is a hologram projector that mostly shows a lady frolicking on a beach.
That they used to distract people.
But I don't know. I don't get it.
It was never really used effectively in the movie.
No,
either,
it was
which
just
cracked
hey, look at
me up.
this, and
It's
everybody laughs at it.
And he was like, "Hey, we can make that hologram machine do most anything, And
But
then
they didn't do anything
They didn't really
with
do
it.
anything other than show a cartoon pig and a bikini lady.
Dallas loved that fucking cartoon
He
pig.
really did love that cartoon pig.
Oh,
He almost
man.
sunk the whole pitch, though.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
because like Barry Bostwick's like, Dallas.
Dude, Dallas. I mean, I'm professional.
Yeah, come on, man. Watch your cartoons in your own quarters.
That
man.
was a really fun, awkward moment, though, because after that, I don't really think they knew where to take the scene.
Right.
Like, they wanted this moment of comedy, but then
Right.
they didn't really know where to go next.
that whole
so
scene
it was
is-
this whole sort of shuffling out of the room. that was super awkward.
Yeah, the scene is Ace is explaining his plan to British Stuffy Man and Persis Kambata. It's like at 0431 we're gonna land, at 0435 we're gonna blow shit up, and at 0459 we're done. We're out. And at 0721 we'll be having breakfast at the Hardee's. Come join us.
Yeah, bring
Yeah,
a champagne. Dom Perignon.
Oh, yeah. And so like it's just a bunch of like times and like objectives. It's like somebody's reading to you the Metal Gear game they're playing. And it's like, and so like the British guy's like all in. It's like, yes, I'm in. let's do this.
This is beyond my wildest dreams.
It's like I had no idea you would be so specific about everything. And so then Michael Beck's like, and Dallas is like, ha, look at this. And he like turns on a cartoon pig that's dancing around singing a song or whatever, and he's just laughing.
Oh,
and
he's shitting himself laughing so
and
hard.
Ace is like, it's like, God.
Yeah, he kind of gives him a look like, God damn it.
And then hard cut to time to roll out or
yeah,
whatever.
it's kind of like a awkward sort of, well, okay. So we're still doing this thing?
Right.
What time's the mission start?
So Megaforce.
Megaforce.
Is a movie that needs to be seen to be believed. It is a movie that is truly both mega and force. And it is a movie that I gladly own as a bootleg.
Yeah,
because nobody's making that shit into
there's
a
a
Blu-ray.
there's a Japanese Blu-ray of this that I might have to buy. I want to see if somebody really truly scanned and upconverted Megaforce to high definition. Like, is that possible?
Highly
Did somebody
unlikely.
do that?
Highly unlikely. That's what Michael Beck is doing these days.
I feel like
upscanning all of his old movies into Blu-ray.
poor Michael Beck. Yeah, I mean, none of that shit's on. But I think maybe the Warriors
Xanadu is.
is on Blu-ray.
Yeah, Xanadu.
Oh, really?
A few years ago, yeah, same edition as I've got on DVD.
Huh.
But I don't think I wanted that on Blu-ray. I think I like the DVD.
It could improve the sound though. It could be a really nice, like, a 5.1 Xanadu.
I have a feeling that soundtrack coming in at 5 different points into my face
Would explode you.
Would explode my. It looked like scanners.
I think Geoff, that'd be the end of him.
Yeah,
It would be his ecstasy.
there would be way too much to clean.
He
up
would be
afterwards.
vaporized into the
Little
phantom
wisps.
zone.
Little wisps. I'm like, where the fuck am I at?
It would be like a little snap
Yeah.
and this wisp of smoke.
Yeah, and then the 3 guys with a bazooka walk up to me and I'm like, what the fuck?
And trade places.
Yeah.
They end up in your apartment
Yeah.
watching fucking Xanadu.
What year is it? I don't know.
Thought we escaped the shitty 80s.
Well, I don't have anything else to say. You have anything else you'd like to add?
I'm good, I think. Moving on.
All right. Well, starting next week is Sexy September.
Oh, we're pretty excited about
We're just a couple of hets sitting around watching sexy movies together.
Yeah, the
not gonna be awkward
the
at all.
curation of Sexy September has taken some time. So
Yeah, we had to really consider what we were
we're
going to do.
pretty proud, I think, of our lineup.
Yeah,
and
we're going to.
and we definitely have Sexy Septembers to come as well.
Oh, there's way too many.
CUM. Ha ha ha.
Oh, stop with your smut.
But yeah, we like it. Do we want to give them a sneak peek?
Yeah. So first up, starting next week, will be Basic Instinct.
Yeah, classic,
And
right?
That's the one that really sets the tone.
You think
for
erotic
the rest of the
thriller,
ones.
mainstream erotic thriller, that is the crown jewel, right?
That's the one from the 90s in particular. We stuck with the 90s. We also have Color of Night, Jade, and Exotica
Yes.
on the docket. Over at B Movie Enema, I am kind of running a
Concurrent.
Sexy September called Ilsa She-Wolf of September.
Oh,
2 S's.
nice.
I will be covering all of the Ilsa movies over there.
Are there 4 of
because
those?
There are 4 of those. One is kind of an unofficial, same actress. They just retconned it in.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah.
like, sort of like every Django movie ever made.
Right. Ilsa She-Wolf of the SS. Ilsa Harem Keeper of the Oil Sheiks.
Wow.
Ilsa Tigress of Siberia. And Ilsa the Wicked Warden. The Wicked Warden was the last one that was kind of retconned in. But all Diane Thorne. All sexy exploitation business happening over there.
Lots of sexiness coming up.
Yeah,
coming your
September
way
is
in
going
your
to be-
faces.
September is going to be hot.
Hot September.
So be sure to check that out next week. I'm looking forward to seeing Sharon Stone before she got old and weird.
Yeah. Ooh, that's Basic Instinct, man. That's creepy Michael Douglas era too.
Yeah, my second half of September is the stuff I'm looking forward to with Jade and Exotica. Those
Jade is David Caruso, right?
And Linda Fiorentino.
Yeah, that's a good one. Linda Fiorentino. Who?
Yep.
Exotica though, that's one I don't remember well.
That's got Bruce Greenwood in it, the guy who played Casey Jones in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies.
Wait.
And
No.
Mia Kushner.
Bruce Greenwood?
No, Bruce Greenwood, but no, Elias Codius.
Oh, but he's also in it.
Right.
Okay, I was like,
Yeah,
Bruce
no,
Greenwood
he's the
wasn't
DJ.
Casey Jones.
No, God, no.
He's played president like a million times or something, but
Right, no, he's the DJ in Exotica is Casey Jones.
Oh, all right.
And then Mia Kushner is the
Mia Kushner.
Yeah.
That's a sexy September indeed, Jeff.
It is, right? And that's a good movie. That one got 2 enthusiastic thumbs up. So we're saving the best for last on that. Next September, we'll only go so far as sexy as until we get to that Friday the 13th that year. Because guess what happens then? We talk about Friday the 13th.
I mean, yeah.
Right. But we'll see. We'll work with that. That's a whole nother year away. But join us next week for Basic Instinct.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
With Hank Pym and the bad lady
Ice
from
picks
Catwoman.
and legs crossing.
Yep.
Good stuff. Bush. Beer. Yeah. All right. So.
All right. So every week, you know the routine. Go to filmseizure.com.
Check us out online, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. All those places you can plug Film Seizure into. You'll find us.
If you ever have any suggestions for things that we've got a pretty open slate in November so far, we haven't really fully decided. You can email us at filmseizure@gmail.com. Someday we will have Film Seizure. We'll have Gmail at filmseizure.com.
Yes, we will.
That is our ultimate.
That is, I
goal.
think, when the podcast self-actualizes, is when we have a Gmail at filmseizure.com email address.
Right. So until next week when we start getting sexy on you, this is Geoff Arbuckle.
This is Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure.
Hi, Duke. Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win. Even in the 80s. See you, Duke.